My dear friends, every invention you see around you, every great achievement, every miracle of science or service to humanity all began as just a thought, a small spark in a quiet mind. That's the magic of dreaming big and starting small. When you look at the stars and imagine reaching them, that's a big dream. But when you pick up a book to study space, that's a small start. This is how revolutions begin, not with noise but with a whisper of purpose. A dream is a beautiful thing. It makes your heart beat faster. It fills your eyes with light. But here is the truth. A dream without action is just a fantasy. It feels good, but it leads nowhere. If you want your dream to come true, you must take the first step, no matter how small it is. Think of a bird sitting on a tree. It looks calm, but it has to flap its wings to fly. It cannot wish itself into the sky. That first flap is your first step, and many of us are afraid of this first flap. We ask, what if I fail? What if I fall? But what if you rise? What if that one step changes your entire future? Every invention in the world, the light bulb, the aeroplane, the mobile phone, started with an idea, but the idea was only the beginning. Someone had to work, someone had to stay awake at night, someone had to face rejections and still try again. That was their first step. You may be sitting in a small room right now. You may not have enough money, you may not have the best books or the latest tools, but what you do have is a brain, a heart, and a body that can move. That is enough to begin. Take one action today, read one page, write one paragraph, practice one skill, speak one line with confidence. That is your step. Even nature teaches us this truth. The river starts as a drop, the forest starts with one seed, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 foot moving forward. Nobody wakes up one day and becomes great. They walk slowly and they walk daily. That's the secret. Sometimes people will laugh. They will say your dream is too big, that you cannot do it. Ignore that noise. You are not working to impress them. You are working to prove something to yourself. Your first step is not for applause, it's for building your courage. When you take that step, you tell your mind, yes I can, yes I will. The first step may feel lonely, it may even feel useless, but it is the foundation of everything. A house without a first brick cannot be built, and your dream is like that house. Lay the first brick. It might not be perfect, but it's real, and something real is always better than something imaginary. So ask yourself, what can I do today? Not tomorrow, not next year. Today, can I call someone for guidance? Can I watch a free lesson online? Can I write down my plan? Can I stop wasting 1 hour and use it for learning? These are small things, but they make you powerful. Remember, even the biggest fire begins with a single spark, and you, my friend, are that spark. Use your current resources, not your future excuses. This is a rule that can change your life forever. Often, people say, I will start when I get a better phone, or I will work hard once I have a new laptop, or I will try after I get some investment. These are not reasons, they are delays. And delays are dream killers. The truth is, nobody ever had everything they needed when they started. Great people used what they had. They began with broken tools, old notebooks, borrowed devices, small rooms, and limited support. But they had something more important than resources. They had the will to use what was in their hands. You do not need a perfect studio to start creating music. You do not need $1,000 camera to make videos. You do not need the latest software to design, to code, or to write. You only need the mind to see opportunity where others see lack. The person who waits for ideal conditions will keep waiting, but the one who starts now with whatever is available will grow faster and go further. Every champion was once just a person trying their best with very little. Think about this. A candle does not complain about darkness, it just burns. That is your role too. Don't waste your time listing what you don't have. Use that time to explore what you do have. If you don't have a mentor, learn from free content. If you don't have money, invest your time. If you don't have support, be your own cheerleader. The moment you begin using your current resources, you stop being a victim of your environment and become the creator of your destiny. So many dreams die young, not because they are impossible, but because the dreamer keeps postponing action. Excuses are soft pillows. They feel good for a while, but they slowly kill your hunger. You start believing that maybe you're not meant for something big. But that's a lie. You are just avoiding the discomfort of starting with less. Greatness grows in the soil of discomfort. When you choose to act despite lack, you build power inside you. Let's imagine two people. One has 100 tools but never starts. The other has only one tool but uses it daily. Who wins in the end? The one who acted. Progress is not about what you own. It's about how you use what's already around you. That cracked phone in your hand can become your classroom. That notebook can carry your plans. That extra hour can be your gold mine. The world is full of resources, but they are silent. They need your action to make noise. Even the greatest project started with a small space, a little time, and minimal support. You are not behind. You are not late. You are simply standing at the door. Now open it. Step through with what you've got. A small internet connection is enough to learn any skill. A basic phone camera is enough to start your content journey. Your room can be your lab. Your pain can be your fuel. Your background does not define your limit. Your excuses do. Look around right now. Make a list of 5 things you already have that you can use to get closer to your goal. Be honest. It could be your voice, your writing, your thinking, your phone, your courage, your persistence. These are not small things. These are seeds. Use them. Water them. Stop comparing your starting point with someone else's middle. That only steals your focus. Use what's yours. Own it. Master it. The moment you do that, you stop wishing and start building. Big dreams require small daily habits. People often admire the success of others, the achievements, the recognition, the fame, but they rarely pay attention to what built that success. Behind every big dream achieved is a long series of small, almost invisible steps taken daily. These steps are not glamorous. They are not exciting. They are usually boring, repetitive, and often unnoticed, but they are powerful. Because what you do every day becomes who you are, and who you are shapes what you achieve. If you want to become a writer, it is not the big book deal that defines you. It is the daily discipline of writing a few paragraphs, even when you do not feel like it. If you want to become a scientist, it is not the discovery that makes you one. It is the daily reading, the practice of asking questions, and the endless hours spent in learning. If you want to build a business, it is not the final profit that builds it. It is the small decisions, the long nights, the quiet thinking, the repeated planning. Dreaming is easy, but fulfilling that dream is a process. That process is made of your habits. If your daily life is disconnected from your dream, the dream stays a dream. You cannot wish for one thing and work for another. There has to be alignment. The biggest mistake young people make is waiting for a big opportunity. They think success will come suddenly, But real success arrives quietly, like water rising slowly in a jar, one drop at a time. That drop is your habit. Habits are stronger than motivation. Motivation can fade, but habits remain. If you build the right habits early, they carry you even on the days when you feel tired or lost. Imagine waking up every day and doing one small thing for your goal. Just one thing. It could be writing a page, watching a lesson, improving a skill, fixing a mistake, reviewing your plan, reading a book over a week. That's 7 steps forward. In a month, that's 30. In a year, that's 365. And most people will not even take 10. Habits also teach you patience. They make you understand that good things take time. They force you to be consistent. And consistency is more valuable than intensity. Anyone can work hard for a day, but only a few have the discipline to work a little every day. That little work compounds. It builds momentum. It sharpens your focus. It builds strength, not only in your mind, but in your character. It is easy to get distracted. Social media, noise, opinions all pull you away from your path. But a strong habit brings you back. It becomes your anchor. Even if the world shakes, your habit keeps you grounded. You can rely on it. It is your secret weapon. It builds your future slowly, piece by piece. Look at any successful person, and you will see this pattern. Their habits are clear. They wake up early. They plan their day. They read. They practice. They prepare. They keep going when others quit. It is not luck. It is not talent. It is their habits that push them ahead. And those habits are not born. They are built. You build them by showing up, by repeating actions, by training your brain to stay loyal to your goals. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by your dream, break it down. Ask yourself, what can I do today? Then do it again tomorrow and again the day after. One step a day, one habit at a time. That is how mountains are climbed, how books are written, how empires are built. Not in one giant leap, but in steady, determined footsteps that refuse to stop. Do not wait for support, build silently. Many people delay their journey because they are waiting for someone to believe in them, encourage them, or walk beside them. They think they need a mentor, a team, a crowd, or applause to begin. They believe that without help they cannot make it. But this mindset is a trap. If you keep waiting for someone to lift you up, you may never rise. True growth begins the moment you decide to stand alone. The earlier you accept this, the stronger you become. Building silently means working without the noise, without announcing every step, without seeking validation for every move. It means doing your part even when no one notices. The world might ignore your efforts in the beginning. Friends may not understand, family may doubt your path, society may offer silence instead of support, but that is okay because silence is not the enemy, it is your training ground. In silence, you sharpen your focus, you hear your own thoughts, you develop discipline, you rely on inner strength. Support is beautiful when it comes, but it must not become a condition for you to start. If you are always waiting for others to push you, you will never learn how to push yourself. If you are always asking for approval, you will never hear your own conviction. Building silently is not about isolating yourself. It is about learning how to move without needing noise around you. It is about building confidence from action, not attention. When people see only the result, they call it luck, but you know the truth. You know the nights you stayed up, the hours you practiced, the sacrifices you made, the fears you faced, the pain you tolerated. These are the invisible bricks that build greatness, and they are laid in silence. That is why your journey must be yours. Not everyone needs to understand it. Not everyone needs to see it. Let your results do the talking. There is strength in being underestimated. When people do not expect much from you, you have the freedom to build without pressure. You can grow at your own pace. You can explore, experiment, and evolve. The world might overlook you, but you do not have to overlook yourself. Trust the process, trust the small wins, trust the rhythm of quiet progress. A seed does not shout when it breaks the soil, it simply rises. You must do the same. Do not get distracted by applause or discouraged by silence. Keep building, keep learning, keep preparing. A time will come when the same people who doubted you will ask how you did it, but by then you will not need their words because you will have something better, proof, and that proof will be written in the language of your work, your persistence, and your silent climb. People who build in silence often build stronger foundations. They are not building for the moment, they are building for the future. They are not chasing attention, they are chasing mastery. They are not addicted to praise, they are addicted to progress. These people may not trend today, but they last longer. Their work speaks and it speaks with power. There is something sacred about doing the work when no one is watching. It builds humility, it teaches you patience, it protects you from arrogance, it connects you to your purpose, not to people's opinions. And in the end, purpose always wins, because when the world is quiet, your dream still whispers, and when you keep moving toward that whisper step by step, without needing a crowd, you become unstoppable. Every expert was once a beginner. This is a sentence we often hear, but we do not always feel its truth. We see someone successful and assume they were always that way. We forget that behind every polished performance was a rough draft. Behind every confident voice was once a shaky whisper. Behind every powerful action was once an awkward attempt. No one starts great. No one starts great. No one is born knowing. Every master was once confused, clumsy, and unsure. They just did not stop. Beginners often feel overwhelmed. They look at the gap between where they are and where they want to be, and that distance feels impossible. But the truth is that gap only closes when you take the first step, not the perfect step, just a step. It could be a messy attempt, an imperfect try, or even a failed experiment, but it is a step forward. Progress never asks for perfection, it only asks for effort. The difference between experts and beginners is not talent, it is consistency. Experts keep showing up. They make mistakes and learn from them. They fall and rise. They doubt themselves and still act. What makes them great is not that they avoid failure, but that they walk through it with patience. They take feedback seriously. They accept that growth is slow. They do not look for shortcuts. They trust the process. They understand that being bad at something at first is not a problem. It is proof that they are trying. When you start something new, you will feel uncomfortable. You will compare yourself to those ahead of you. You will want quick results. But this mindset can break your spirit. You have to remind yourself again and again that every expert was once exactly where you are. They too felt unsure. They too had no idea what they were doing, but they chose to continue. They chose to stay on the path, no matter how hard or lonely it seemed. The beauty of being a beginner is that you are open to learning. You have room to grow. You have the freedom to try without pressure. You can explore, ask questions, make mistakes, and slowly build your own style. This is a powerful stage. It shapes your foundation. What you build now will support your future. Do not rush through it. Honor the beginner in you. Feed it with curiosity, not criticism. The world often celebrates the expert, but forgets the journey. Do not be discouraged by that. Behind every success story are hours of unseen work, practice sessions that fail, ideas that flop, moments of silence and doubt. What matters is that they kept going, and so can you. Step by step, you start to feel stronger. Your hands become steadier, your thoughts clearer, your work sharper, and one day, without even realizing it, you become the one others look up to. When you feel like you are not good enough, do not quit. Remember that you are not supposed to be great right now. You are supposed to be growing. That is your job. Every expert you admire is still learning. The process never ends, but it becomes easier, it becomes exciting, and eventually it becomes fulfilling. You look back and smile at how far you have come, how much you have learned, and how proud you are of the one who started, even when it was hard. Start where you are, use what you have, learn as much as you can, make peace with mistakes, embrace the awkwardness of learning something new, celebrate small wins, ask for help when needed, and most importantly, keep showing up, keep working, keep believing. You are not behind, you are just beginning, and every expert was once right there with you, taking the first step into the unknown. Failure is your teacher, not your enemy. This is the truth that many people forget when they stumble. The moment something goes wrong, they panic, they doubt themselves, they feel embarrassed. They think it means they are not good enough, but that is not what failure means. Failure is simply feedback. It is a mirror that shows you what did not work, and in that reflection, it offers you direction. Those who run from failure are running from growth, but those who sit with it, learn from it, and then rise again, they are the ones who eventually succeed. Imagine a child learning to walk. He falls many times, but he does not quit. He does not say, maybe walking is not for me. No, he gets up again and again, and one day he walks. Then he runs. Why do we forget this as we grow older? Why do we expect perfection on our first attempt? The greatest minds, the most successful people, the innovators, the leaders, all have a history filled with failure, but they did not let it break them. They used it to build themselves. When you fail, it means you tried. You stepped outside your comfort zone, you challenged your limits. That already puts you ahead of those who never begin. Every failure brings with it a message. Maybe your plan needs a change. Maybe your skill needs improvement. Maybe your mindset needs more strength. These are not signs to stop. These are signs to refine, to adjust, to sharpen your tools. The most dangerous thing about failure is not the fall. It's the fear that comes after. It's the voice in your head that says you'll never make it. That voice is a liar. You must learn to talk back to it. You must say, this fall is part of my climb. You are not broken. You are being shaped. You are being tested, stretched, and prepared. Diamonds are made under pressure. Steel is forged in fire. Growth requires struggle. There is no shortcut to mastery. You must fail to understand. You must fall to know balance. In sports, in science, in business, in relationships. Failure is how we learn. A failed experiment is not a waste. It teaches you what does not work. A lost match teaches you what needs practice. A broken plan shows you where the gaps are, but only if you are willing to listen. That is the key. Failure speaks, but it only teaches those who are humble enough to learn. Do not let society's opinions destroy your courage. People may laugh, they may judge, but they are not living your dream. You are, and your journey is unique. When you accept failure is a part of the process, you become fearless. You stop worrying about what might go wrong, and you start focusing on what can go right. That shift changes everything. You start experimenting more. You take more chances. You explore. You build confidence, not from success, but from your ability to rise every time you fall. Think of your failure as a teacher. It is strict, yes. Sometimes it hurts, but it is honest, and it wants you to improve. Take notes, ask questions, find the lesson, and then try again, not as the same person, but as a smarter, stronger version of yourself. That is how champions are made, not from easy wins, but from hard losses that taught them resilience. There is pride in that. There is strength in scars. Every time you fail and get back up, you are rewriting your story. You are choosing to grow. Self belief is your first capital. Before money, before tools, before connections, you need belief. Without it, nothing else matters. With it, even the smallest opportunity becomes powerful. This belief is not arrogance. It is not thinking you are better than others. It is knowing that your dream has value, that your effort has meaning, and that your life has purpose. It is the foundation on which every success story is built. No one can give it to you. You must build it yourself, moment by moment, decision by decision. When you believe in yourself, you take action. You stop waiting for permission. You stop asking others if your idea is good enough. You stop doubting your every step. You start doing, you start trying, you start learning. Self-belief makes you brave. It gives you the strength to start small and the courage to keep going. It tells you, even when things look impossible, that you have something inside you worth fighting for. Most people do not fail because they lack talent. They fail because they doubt themselves too much. They talk themselves out of great ideas. They give up before trying. They compare themselves to others and feel smaller. But self-belief changes that. It shifts your focus from what others are doing to what you are capable of. It replaces jealousy with inspiration. It replaces fear with excitement. It does not remove all challenges, but it gives you the mindset to face them. Believing in yourself does not mean you will never feel fear. It means you will not let fear stop you. It means you will act even with shaky hands. It means you will take the leap even when the path is unclear. People who believe in themselves are not superhuman. They are simply people who choose to trust their journey more than their doubts. They trust their efforts more than their excuses. They choose to see what is possible, not just what is visible. Every big change in life starts with a single decision, the decision to believe. To believe that you can change your story, that you can grow beyond your past, that you can create something meaningful. This belief fuels discipline. It pushes you to wake up early, to stay focused, to learn new things, to keep improving. It keeps you going when motivation fades. It reminds you that you are not your failures, not your background, not your worst days. You are your potential. There will be days when no one claps for you, when no one sees your effort, when progress feels slow. On those days, self-belief becomes your light. It tells you to keep going. It tells you that success is not about being seen, it is about being steady. When you build self-belief, you stop depending on praise. You start depending on principles. You work not to impress but to improve. You measure your worth by your effort, not by results. People around you may not always understand your dream. They may doubt you, laugh at you, ignore you. Let them. Your belief is not for them. It is for you. It is your silent promise to your future self that you will not quit. It is your decision to show up, to give your best, to make progress. That belief becomes your fuel. It becomes your protection. It becomes your first and most powerful investment. So start there. With belief, no matter how small the dream, no matter how far the goal, no matter how slow the progress, believe that you matter, that your actions count, that your dream deserves a chance. Once you have belief, everything else can be built. Without it, even the best tools remain unused. With it, even a single step can become a revolution. Small efforts, when consistent, shape destinies. This is a truth that sounds simple but holds incredible power. Most people dream of big breakthroughs, sudden success, and dramatic transformations. They want to wake up one morning and find themselves successful, admired, and accomplished. But life does not work like that. Real change happens slowly through repeated action. It is not the loud, grand moves that build a legacy. It is the quiet, steady effort that no one sees, done day after day without giving up. Imagine a river cutting through a rock. It does not do it in one strike. It does not shout or rush. It flows with patience, with driven, with dedication. Drop by drop, over time, it shapes the hardest surface. That is the power of consistent effort. It looks small in the moment, but it becomes unstoppable over time. The same rule applies to our goals, our skills, our character. A little progress every day is better than occasional greatness. People often underestimate the value of small actions. They skip a day of practice thinking it will not matter. They delay 1 hour of study believing it makes no difference. They avoid a short workout thinking it is too little to help. But these small drops, when ignored, dry up the river, and when respected, they fill it. Consistency is not about intensity, it is about loyalty to your purpose, showing up even when it is hard, doing what you said you would do, even when no one is watching. Success is not built in a moment of inspiration, it is built in the days you feel tired but still try, in the moments when results are invisible but effort continues. It is built in habits, in focus, in quiet repetition. The most powerful people in the world are not those who work the hardest once in a while. They are the ones who commit to the process, no matter what mood, season, or obstacle comes their way. The beauty of small, consistent efforts is that they compound. Like money in a bank gaining interest, your small actions grow in value. A few pages read daily become entire libraries of knowledge. A few words written regularly become full books. A few minutes of exercise become a strong body. A short time of daily prayer or reflection becomes inner peace. These results are not sudden, but they are sure, and they are earned, not wished for. Most people give up not because they lack ability, but because they lack patience. They expect fast rewards. When results do not show up quickly, they assume it is not working, but the seed planted does not grow in one night. It needs watering, it needs sunlight, it needs time. Your dreams are the same. Every effort you make is a drop of water. Every time you repeat your action, you add light. Keep going, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because something is happening. Growth is taking place quietly inside the roots. You do not need to impress the world with one big move. You need to impress yourself with your discipline. You need to know that you are capable of showing up, that you are not just a dreamer but a doer, that you can be trusted with your own future. When you trust the power of small, consistent actions, you stop being in a rush. You start building a foundation that lasts. The world may take time to notice, but your life will start to change. You will begin to feel stronger, more focused, more alive. You will see your skills sharpen, your confidence grow, your vision become clearer, and one day the very path you once struggled to stay on becomes the place you walk with ease. Not because the path changed, but because you did. Through your small, repeated, unshakable effort,